helpless to heal your life and to contribute to this world. Right? Seeing so many challenges that we are facing and not knowing what to and where to even shift our focus to first. Now, I have an idea, and it is something that you can start with immediately and do every day without costing you anything. Hi, my name is Evette Rose, author and founder of Metaphysical Anatomy, which is a guide to understanding your emotional body. And also now, welcome to today's topic, and also welcome to our guided healing session that we are going to be doing here for the planet. Now, firstly, I want to thank you for being here with me today, for taking the time to step up and to also be of great service to the world. And on top of everything that you have already done, and now continuing to do to add to the contribution, because I'm sure you know that this world is in dire need of like-minded people to help heal and to transform it in a way so that this planet can start to now continue to hold the space for us and also for our future generations to continue to create success and to live fulfilling lives, and to also just experience life and everything that it has to offer. And now, one of many starting points here through healing is that we can start to heal through the thought, right? Through just an intention. Easy, right? Let me explain. So when you energize a thought, you bring life to it, and you feed this thought and the feeling with your emotionally charged energy and the energy that this thought holds. Now, this also depends on your state of mind at the time, whether it's positive or whether it's negative. Now, I know that people say, good or bad does not exist. But when you look at the greater picture of the universe, and it's also the collective existence of it, in this case, if something does not feel good to you, then it's going to be a negative experience, which of course, it affects your ability to feel happy. Right? So that is the concept and the understanding that we are now working with, just to make sure that it's out of the way and that we are all now on the same page. Now, coming back to the moment when you think of a thought, right? Thinking about it now energizes that thought. And you think of it with your mind that now holds a strong electromagnetic field that can give and receive information non-locally, which means that you don't just hold that thought in your cognitive system. It actually stretches beyond your mind. Now, the reason is that these electromagnetic fields that are now being brought to life through your emotional body and your thought process, right? So when we feel, that what we feel translates to the thoughts, and then the thoughts can also translate and trigger emotions and vice versa. Now, thoughts are also propelled forward as electrical surges throughout neural pathways. Now, as these thoughts are now moving through the neural pathways, setting it off into motion, electromagnetic fields are then created. And this brings power and movement to your consciousness through this deep, non-local field of the electromagnetic field. And it can have an effect on matter in your environment, which explains why you, for example, can sense or feel when someone is unhappy, even though they don't show it. Now, when someone else feels the same emotion and thought, they also bring life to it. And they feed this thought and this feeling with their emotionally charged energy. Now, if thousands and thousands of people start to experience the same trauma, the same traumatic experience then remains unhealed and unresolved in their emotional body and mind. It means now, right? Listen up, this is important. It means now that the memory and the negative emotion of these experiences remain alive in the energy quantum fields of our existence. Now, the more people who experience it, the bigger and stronger and more powerful this collective experience becomes. And it can start to dominate above other experiences that are not as strongly charged. Example, we are more accustomed to dwell, for now example, in negativity rather than positivity. Hence why we feel such a strong pull into negative states of consciousness, much easier and faster than positive states of consciousness. So collective fields of consciousness that is positive haven't been as energized as much and developed over time as negative states of consciousness. Now, negative states of consciousness now also hold unprocessed and unhealed collective trauma. And this unprocessed trauma that I am referring to, that are being held now in the collective fields of the consciousness, is what needs to be released and transformed into constructive energy for the human race. Now, in this case, it does not mean that you are healing people with unprocessed trauma directly. What it means is that the negative charge in the collective consciousness field will drastically start to decrease, allowing other people to access and feel positive states of consciousness much easier and stronger. Now, the long-term end result, the more positive and confident states of mind and positive attitudes will start to come forward, and we will start to become less fear-based and less fear-driven behaviors will be exercised. Now, let's use watching the news as an example. You know, something as perceivably normal, such as watching the news and just seeing a disaster, creates an instant global fear collectively, which then energizes and strengthens our collective fear of feeling helpless and out of control. And the list here can go on. Now, the collective consciousness is lately becoming stronger and stronger, which makes it so much easier to be controlled and to be manipulated by people. Because when you are held and suppressed by such a strong collective cloud, right, you can easily be drawn into the state of mind and then act and react from a place of fear and unhappiness. Now, this is when suppression meets overcompensation. Fear is a powerful experience to have. You yourself would know how hard it is to feel happy when you feel scared. It's hard to be happy when you live in fear, right? You see now, the collective fear dominates over the collective happiness. So we also live in a holographic universe, and collectively unprocessed trauma is also part of that. And it's also around you, also within your existence, because you are part of this entire existence. It is within you, and it's also outside of you. It gives you also, listen up, it gives you also the power to heal, and as a result, heal the entire planet step by step. So you are a collective expression of power, and also an unlimited amount of physical and non-physical experiences. And so here you can now use your capacity and use your ability to restore balance in this life, which is now, collectively speaking, your life as well. Right? We all have a spiritual history and also collective experiences that are also held in our DNA as well. So you see, not only do you have a collective unprocessed trauma on the quantum field, the history of it also extends and reflects in your DNA there. Now, there is also a history teaching that also links us to being God, and also God being us, right? To being made in its expression. And I see that as a collective expression of divine information and non-local experiences that have come together to form a collective experience. Now, that non-local experiences now have also individually taken physical form. So healed and unhealed aspects that are also now being continuously expressed, right? So that means instead of hoping that a higher source is going to fix everything, it actually puts the responsibility back onto us. And when I say responsibility, I mean that in the capacity that you are able to take responsibility, right? And the most powerful point to start with is you. It is to start with your state of mind. And you can control that to a great degree. Now, you can also, for example, meditate. You can educate yourself on life and on history, and also how to be of service to the world in a way that is in balance with who you are, and also with people that will benefit from that. Now, that's just a few of a gazillion examples, right? But the core message here is that you are not powerless to have a capacity, right? To have that capacity to help and to create change. Now, when you create a thought, like I said, you put energy in motion, right? You create a collective movement. And if does the same. We will all have a powerful collective movement that can dominate the negative aspects of the collective trauma that holds the negative states of consciousness in place. It's almost like, it's like when you light a lighter and the flame on its own is strong, but you can blow it out really easily. Now, it can also decrease darkness, but it's still really small. Now, if you take many small flames and you bring them together and you have now a powerful, bigger, stronger flame that can now outshine the darkness, and you will most likely also not be able to blow it out as easily. So you see, collective healing and the impact of that is huge, right? You demean the result of it just because you can't always see instant results. I really hope that you can now see that you can be the starting point of a beautiful ripple effect of something that is incredibly important and very powerful. Because when you heal your focus and where the intention is, and if that is on serving humanity and also on a collective purpose, then the universe will respond so much stronger, because that is what is needed most right now. And it is also in service to the world and its ability to evolve and to grow. Now, we are also disconnected from each other because we have learned to live for ourselves instead of living and thinking collectively towards our collective survival. Now, the shared focus has been narrowed down to a singular individual focus, which breaks down the collective connectedness that was once shared by us as a world nation. So, now enough talking and let's start the healing. Now, during this exercise, I'm going to talk you through this process step by step. And we're going to go through an easy to follow collective guided session. So, before you start, make sure that you are comfortable, that you're sitting down or you can be lying down, and make sure that you're not interrupted for at least the next 10 to 15 minutes. And so, when you are ready, let's take a nice deep breath. And exhale. Another nice deep breath. And exhale. That's it. And now, I invite you to feel, see, sense, or hear a beautiful waterfall, or it can be a beautiful light that's beaming from above, down your head, your arch, your back, your upper body, down your legs, flowing through you, releasing, resolving and dissolving any and all stress that you feel. Resolving and dissolving. Allowing yourself also to focus on your breath. Allowing that light to flow through every single cell in your body. And now, allowing that beautiful light that is around you, allow it now to expand. Expand as far as it needs to go. Knowing and understanding that this light represents your consciousness. It represents and it holds that beautiful fire line of electromagnetic fields that's now being fired off and will be continuously firing off through the thoughts that you will be projecting into that. Just having an awareness of that beautiful light that's expanding. And also now here together with you, connecting to the divine intelligence and consciousness of all that there is. Through the quantum field. Requesting for a healing and initiating this healing today with a beautiful collective universe and intelligence, knowing that you and everyone else are supported in this request, and that this is a direct delivery and also in service to the world. And now, when you are ready, I invite you to feel, see, sense, or hear, like the planet far at a distance. Knowing and understanding that this planet represents Mother Nature. And also, as you're observing this planet, I invite you now to feel, see, sense, or hear a copy of your DNA strand in the middle of the earth. And this represents the physical human aspect of this healing. Remember, we are a part of all that there is, and everything is reflected through you and in your consciousness and in your DNA. And now, feel, see, sense, or hear a beautiful light that is flowing now around and over the earth. And this beautiful light that's flowing around the earth represents the collective consciousness, even though it's everywhere. We visualize this now to make it easier to stay focused. Knowing that your intended focus and intention will expand and stretch as far as it needs to go. And now, as you see that earth with the DNA strand, and then also the light around the earth representing the collective consciousness, bringing another beautiful light and give it a different color over the entire universe. And holding a strong focused intention through this light, allowing now unhealed collective trauma associated with disconnection. Disconnection from family, from friends, from communities, from Mother Nature. And as a collective nation, restoring the highest and best frequency and space for connection. Release unhealed trauma behind abuse. Release unhealed trauma behind feeling competitive. Release unhealed trauma behind selfishness. Seeing that beautiful light just resolving and dissolving, allowing it to show you the changes that are taking place, feeling, seeing, and sensing this beautiful healing taking place right now. And also now releasing unhealed trauma behind feeling powerless. Releasing unhealed trauma behind feeling helpless. Release unhealed trauma behind feeling unseen and unheard. Knowing that you and everyone else is supported in this beautiful positive moment to help the world and our human race to heal from old wounds. bringing in awareness where there was confusion. And bringing in healing where there is unhealed trauma, to bring peace where there is anger. And to bring equality where there is imbalance. Allowing this healing now to really gently unfold as it needs to. And now as you're observing this bigger picture in this greater space of consciousness, I invite you to let it go and let it be. And so it shall be. And now bringing your focus and your intention here back into the present moment. Knowing that this beautiful intention that you have now propelled forward is in the hands of a divine intelligence that is now going to continue this beautiful healing process. And the more we do this, the stronger the healing will be. And when you're ready, take a nice deep breath with me. Knowing that you did something great and in service of this human race and planet today. And when you're ready, you can wiggle your hands and your toes, feeling the surface beneath your body, listening to my voice. And when you are ready, you can open your eyes and welcome back. And thank you for your time, and thank you for being in service. Until next time, be the light that you are.
Hi guys, thank you for joining me, and remember to grab your copy of Metaphysical Anatomy Volume 1 on Amazon, 679 medical ailments. And here I also talk about the psychosomatic root causes of these ailments, and I'm spoiling you because I'm even adding key points for you to start asking important questions to start improving your quality of life and call your power back from your mind, your body, and your past as well. And also remember to follow me on Instagram, Evette Rose with the digit 1, and also on Facebook in Metaphysical Anatomy. Until next time, bye guys.